Thousands of Jews emigrated from Germany during the 1930s, realizing that there could never be a fair or safe place for them in German society for as long as the Nazis ruled. Those who remained always risked the attentions of the secret state police, the infamous Gestapo. And here in the town of Würzburg lies a clue to just how the Gestapo operated under the Nazis. Almost all Gestapo files were burnt by the Nazis as the Allies came into Germany, but in Würzburg, American soldiers prevented their destruction. Only recently have the files been studied, and a surprising picture emerges of how the Gestapo actually functioned. To start with, far from there being a Gestapo officer on every street corner, there were only 28 secret police officials for the entire Würzburg region of nearly 1 million people.
I think the Gestapo could not have operated without the cooperation of the citizens of Germany. By that I mean it would really have been structurally impossible for them to do so. There were simply not enough Gestapo officials to go around. Somewhere between 80 and 90% of the crimes that were reported to the Gestapo came from ordinary citizens. The main job for the Gestapo was sorting out the denunciations. This seems to have been their preoccupation.
The citizens of a town like Würzburg didn't so much have to fear the Gestapo as what their neighbors might tell the Gestapo. Every German was at risk from denunciation. A woman who lived in this garden house on the outskirts of Würzburg in 1938 first came to the attention of the Gestapo when she was denounced by a relative. She was called Ilse Sonja Totzka, and her Gestapo file lies in the Würzburg archive. After years of denunciations and Gestapo harassment, she was sent to Ravensbrück concentration camp during the war, where she died. Her crime was simple. She didn't fit in. She avoided her neighbors and had Jewish friends.
She is put under very general surveillance, not by the Gestapo, but by the Gestapo asking her neighbors to keep an eye on her. What happens is that one neighbor after another, for one reason or another, come forward with information, but all of it adds up to really one thing. She may be just too unconventional for her own good. And of course what this does is that small town mentality, people keep after her, they keep noticing her, and it's fueled again and again by yet another denunciation.
The denunciations in her file contain mostly gossip about her, that she is acting suspiciously and has shady friends. But her file contains little that amounts to firm evidence against her. One denunciation hints that she may be a lesbian. It says, "Miss Totzka does not seem to have normal predispositions." Typed in red, it is signed only Heil Hitler. Another denunciation bears the signature of a 20-year-old neighbor, Resi Kraus.
Since March 1938, Ilse Sonja Totzka is a resident next door to us in a garden cottage. She rarely has visitors. Now and then, a woman of about 36 years old comes, and she is of Jewish appearance. She has always been sympathetic. I would like to mention that Miss Totzka never responds to the German greeting, Heil Hitler. To my mind, Miss Totzka is behaving suspiciously.
Und neben uns in einem Gartenhaus eine Ilse Sonja Totzka. Ja. Die genannte ist mir aufgefallen, weil sie einen jüdischen Einschlag hat.
Das ist ja ein Mist. Das ist ja ein Mist.
Das stimmt alles.
Nein, das stimmt nicht.
Also ich lese mal kurz zu Ende.
Ja, natürlich.
Das Verhalten der Totzke ist mir auffällig und ich habe angenommen, dass sie sich vielleicht irgendwie zum Nachteile des Deutschen Reiches betätigen könnte. Ich mache deshalb bei der Geheimen Staatspolizei diese Mitteilung. Ja. Weitere sachdienliche Angaben kann ich nicht machen. Nach Selbstlesen unterschrieben,
Also das ist hier Resi Kraus.
Ja.
Das ist mein Name.
Und ist das denn Ihre Unterschrift?
Das ist meine Unterschrift. Ich kann das gar nicht verstehen.
Nee.
Weiß ich nicht, kann ich Ihnen nicht sagen.
Ja. Bloß, wie erklären Sie sich dieses Dokument? Das ist ja seltsam, ne?
Kann ich nicht verstehen.
Das ist ja wirklich eigenartig.
Ja.
Und da hat eben die Gestapo viele Leute befragt, ne,
Ja.
damals.
Ja.
Ja.
Ich kann mich nicht mehr erinnern. Maria
Einfach-
Therese.
Einfach nicht mehr dran erinnern.
Das weiß ich nicht. Die Adresse stimmt, meine Unterschrift stimmt, aber woher das kommt, weiß ich nicht.
Ja.
Sie grinsen, das belastet mich.
Ja, naja, das ist ja auch ein seltsames Dokument.
Ja, aber ich habe mich mit einer Bekannten unterhalten, die sagt, mein Gott, sagt sie, dass sie jetzt nach 50 oder 51 Jahren noch einmal anfangen. Ne? Aber das sind ja Sie, der anfängt. Ne? Ja, ich weiß nicht, ob Sie das schon einmal gehört haben. Ich meine, ich hab Kinder schlafen, habe Kinder ermordet, ich war ja nicht in meinem BDM gewesen. Mein Vater hat zu mir gesagt, BDM, sagt er, ich lasse dich nicht zweimal in der Woche da bei der Nacht danach in die Stadt fahren. Also ich habe sie mir erzählt, wie ich so streng aufgezogen worden bin. Jetzt fängt es an zu regnen.
We used to think that the population was manipulated and brainwashed from above. Now what we're beginning to see, by looking at the social history of the kind one sees in these Gestapo dossiers, we're beginning to see that the system is actually manipulated from below by lots of people for all kinds of reasons, some of them selfish, some of them fewer idealistic. But what we get now is a dramatically different picture of what the system was like.
Ordinary Germans could influence the Gestapo through denunciations, but no major policy could ever be successfully instituted unless Hitler eventually blessed it. So for members of the Nazi elite, the search was always on for a new way of pleasing their Führer.